Hey, Philip, welcome. Yeah, Act 3 is not so much where we are. Whether you call Act 3A, so to speak. I find that the stuff here in Rivington and Wyrm's Crossing and Wyrm's Rock Fortress is fairly straightforward. Um, it's not linear, but I think it's fairly straightforward. The lower city, or Act 3B, that is definitely overwhelming. Yeah, there is a lot of content in the lower city, and it's a big area and congested. And it seems like every time you walk around, you find some random quest pop up by hearing other people. Um, so, yeah, the lower city can be intimidating, especially when you first step foot in it. I think there are ways to kind of tackle it systematically, but that is going to require you to kind of move into one area, explore it, pick up a quest, complete that quest, which may be in other parts of the city, and then come back to that area where you started. So it's kind of like the spokes of a wheel. You start in one spot, you may head out to other locations to finish a quest, but then you come back to that central spot where you were and continue exploring before where that area where before you found that quest. So hopefully watching some of these and that sort of stuff will help people kind of figure out what the main things are to do and what that content revolves around. But yeah, it certainly is. It's definitely an intimidating place in the lower city. Hey, Lord Henry, welcome. Good to see you as always. Yeah, Philip, it's exactly stuff like that. The Orin and Gortash can be completed either way, um, depending upon who you talk to first. I normally end up talking to Gortash first, but sometimes it doesn't happen that way. So it kind of depends on what you're doing with your long rests. Hey, I miss. Welcome. First time seeing your name, so welcome to the live stream. I appreciate you being here. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Yeah, and Philip, that's certainly the best way to go about it. This isn't nearly as camp intensive. This game isn't nearly as camp intensive as like Dragon Age and Mass Effect, where you had to go back to the ship or to the lighthouse or something like that, or you would completely miss conversations. This one isn't nearly that bad. It kind of stacks the conversations up inside the character if you miss it, or inside the NPC if you miss it. You can still play through them, but yeah, for the most part, taking more long rests is never a bad thing. I come from tabletop, so It's an honor mode run through. Right now we are we're about 2/3 of the way through the Rivington, Wyrm's Crossing, Wyrm's Rock Fortress area. Today we are making our way through the end of the Circus of the Last Days. So we're going to have a confrontation here in a little bit. Then we're going to make our way into the Open Hand Temple and start the Investigate the Murders quest and work our way through a lot of that. Then we're going to head over to Gold Coast Couriers, or Sword Coast Couriers, and talk to them about finding the missing letters. And then if we have any time left, we'll head into Sharessa's Caress today. So, should be some fun stuff. Hey, Ostamura. Hey, Andy. Welcome. But yeah, Philip, I came from tabletop, where long rests are few and far between. Your DM normally doesn't encourage them on his own. He leaves it up to you, or they leave it up to you, and then even when you get into a long rest, you may have to roll for random encounters and that sort of stuff. So it's not nearly as benign as it is here in the game. So my brain doesn't think about long rests until I actually get to the point where my action economy demands it. Even though I probably could be, with all the camp supplies I have, I could take, something like 50 more long rests and not have a problem, so. Good timing there on the music. Welcome, everyone, to today's live stream, episode number 36 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Honor Mode gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, I don't think there's anything on a recap. I think I covered everything about the forthcoming January update and the the console hotfix last week. So we'll go right into our recap. At the end of last week's episode, we had started working our way through the Circus of the Last Days. And there are a few pieces of content in here. We had gone through the love match scenario with Zatheno. We had talked to Stony and Boney and gotten our statue. We had stolen Akabi's ring and been sent to the forest and fought our way out of it and picked up a legendary item. And today we are getting ready to have the final encounter inside of the Circus of the Last Days. So let's go ahead and jump in here. And we'll kind of talk about how to do this. I did watch some of the Game Awards, yes, I miss. Yeah, a lot of the games that were in the Game Awards this year weren't of particular interest to me, but there were a lot of good games that were in there. So yeah, I did end up watching a good section of it, just to keep up on what was happening. Okay, so remember we had talked to Lucretius at the end of the episode, and we need to deal with this area. Now, Dribbles the Clown is here, and once you get your main character to proceed up to a certain point, a cutscene is automatically going to trigger here. So we want to do a couple of things before that happens. And those two things deal with Crimson and Shadow-Whiskers here. When this cutscene triggers, Crimson and Shadow-Whiskers are going to be released, and you will have to fight against them. And I would prefer not to do that. So what I'm going to do is take my party up here first. Up here, there are no detection cones that are going to overlap me. I can send everybody into hiding here and they can stay there. So I'm going to go have some conversations here with my bard.
Pave my path with corpses, build my castle with bones.
And before I start that, I want to make sure that I have some meat in my inventory. I don't know if these special items count or not, so I'm just gonna head to camp real quick and make sure that I pick up something out of my camp chest, just to be on the safe side. Okay, any meat will do. Okay, and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to talk to Crimson first. I've got Speak with Animals on. Important. Okay, you're going to get an autosave when you get close to triggering this cutscene. And again, you don't want to walk out this direction. You want to go talk to Crimson directly.
Your flesh through bars and blood breaks.
Okay, and you're going to get this option here where you have something else that you can give him. Okay, you're going to get an inspiration out of that.
Meat.
Okay, and he's going to keep eating. After the confrontation is over, you will be able to talk to Crimson some more, and you will learn a little bit about how he got here and that sort of stuff. Now, Shadow-Whiskers, there are a few different ways to play this out. The game intends for you to lock Shadow-Whiskers in her cage. There are dialogue options here for you to investigate the lock on the cage and to break it so that it cannot be opened. And rogues in particular get an option to make that a little easier. So if you're going to lock Shadow-Whiskers in her cage to prevent her from coming out during the encounter, then it's best to do it with a rogue. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try and free Shadow-Whiskers from her cage. And the reason for that is going to become apparent when I talk to her. Now, there's going to be a persuasion check here to be made to learn more about Shadow-Whiskers, and that's why I'm doing this with my bard.
Another. Good.
Here's the investigation check where you can examine the cage and find out about the lock. We can try and pass it, but I'm not interested in really passing it. Well, I did anyway.
While the cage is sturdy, the lock is old. It could be jammed shut, so not even a key could open it.
Okay, and here's your option to break the lock. Okay.
My time comes. I will show you. All of you.
And here are the persuasion or intimidation checks. Either one is the same for me here to make.
Look. See. The crowd. They laugh. They shine with innocence. But it is a lie. Every one of you is vicious. Cruel. You kill my mate. Steal my cubs. I roar. Break my cage. And then die. You all die! Soon.
Okay, so Shadow-Whiskers has been put in the cage and trapped, and obviously killed her mate and took her cubs. So she's angry about the world, and that's why when this encounter starts, her and Crimson, when they're released, they're not just attacking you. They're also attacking other NPCs. Most of the NPCs here, the citizens, will run away, but the other NPCs that are here, they will possibly get attacked as well. So what I'm going to do is free Shadow-Whiskers. Now, Shadow-Whiskers said that when the cage opens, she's going to start attacking everyone. She actually doesn't do that if her cage is opened before this encounter starts. Okay, if you open her cage now, she will run away. Now, the cage is marked as steel. It's forbidden. You can see the detection cones are all over this place. There's no way to remove those detection cones to get at the door. So there's a couple of different ways to do it. Either Ryland or Karen here have a key that will unlock the cage doors. Okay, both Crimson and Shadow-Whiskers. You're going to need to have greater invisibility to be able to do that, because if you pickpocket, you're not going to be able to stay hidden inside a detection cone. So you're going to need greater invisibility to pickpocket her and stay hidden. You need to have your party completely separated, because she will come out here and try and look for whoever pickpocketed her. And remember, greater invisibility only lasts for 10 turns. So you need to pickpocket her and then immediately interact with the cage door and unlock it, and then run away so that she will not follow you to do it. That is a way to do it. There is a stealth check involved, but especially if you have your rogue doing it, it's pretty easy to pass. There's something else that I read, and I have not tested this, so I probably shouldn't be doing it.
Maybe it'll bring us closer.
But I do want to try it. Actually, there were two things that I read. So let's try this one first. I'm going to try Minor Illusion. And I'm going to try and cast it inside the cage. Over here. Okay, so that does not work anymore. It used to be that if you cast Minor Illusion inside the cage, then Karen would walk over to investigate it, open the cage door, and let Shadow-Whiskers out. That does not work anymore. So I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to try this with Shadowheart. And I'm going to try and cast Darkness so it just hits the cage. Okay, so that no longer works either. Okay. So,
No one stopped me yet.
here's what we will do. We will do the greater invisibility way.
Ready for some good news.
I'm just waiting.
Okay, so I have a scroll of greater invisibility. So, I'm going to take a Starian down here. For Shadowheart, I can get rid of the darkness.
Hungry for the source.
Oh no. You're kidding me. Okay. Interesting. Let's see if we can reset this.
A better position.
Okay. So that got reset. So now I'm interested. The cage door is open and Shadow-Whiskers is out. And there she goes. She left. Okay. So that actually worked out. Just not the way it was intended. And I guess that's another way to do it. If you can get into combat with one of your characters, they will release Shadow-Whiskers, and then you can go invisible and run away and get far enough away that it ends combat. And if the cage door is open, Shadow-Whiskers will disappear. Okay. So now the question becomes, can I go back? Normally you can. Yeah, you can. So now everything's fine. So that's another way to do it. And that's arguably better. Greater invisibility, you don't find those scrolls very often. So I was trying to find a way to do it without having to use that level of scroll. I have plenty of ways to go invisible. So I was trying to do that instead. And that actually worked out for the better. So I hadn't tested that method, but it works. So keep that in mind. If you go out there with a character, if you get into combat out there, then go invisible with that character and leave combat, then you should be okay. Okay. So now Shadow-Whiskers is gone, and like I said, when she gets released from a cage, she just disappears. She just runs off and disappears. And after what she had been through, that's the way that I always like to play it out, is to try and free Shadow-Whiskers, as opposed to locking her in the cage or killing her. Crimson is still in his cage, but we don't have to worry about that. Even if we unlock Crimson's cage, Crimson will not leave. And there's a reason for that we're going to find out here in a little bit. Now, as we approach this, we're going to have, like I say, a cutscene that's going to trigger, and that cutscene is going to have 3 different passive checks in it. And I want to look and see what we have. Aura rings here real quick. I thought we had something that gave us advantage on insight checks. There it is. You gain advantage on insight checks, which we're going to need. So I'm going to give up a... my other way to get critical hits and guarantee that I have advantage on the insight check that we're going to have. And then before I go into this conversation,
What's next, I wonder?
I'm going to also...
Stayed interesting.
shapeshift. And then I'm going to have Shadowheart
Get on with it.
cast Guidance.
Mind.
Okay, and now I'm going to walk in here and trigger this cutscene.
Buddy the dog is my very best friend. Do you know why? Why? Because with him, anything is possible. Way!
Ooh, no. Sorry, Dribbles.
Did you hear about the scarecrow who lost a fight? Hey! Looks like we've got a proper comedian in our midst. Good thing, too. I'll need someone with your wits for my next trick. Now, where are you?
A bloodthirsty rush of fury engulfs you. You want to butcher the crowd, women and children alike, and soak in their innards. It is glorious.
You, my special assistant. Come on up.
Okay, now you can have various companions go up there as well. We do have another insight check here. We don't need the Ring of Truthfulness for this one because we have the Great Old One as our Warlock subclass. But we can attempt this. It's a really high DC. And I rolled incredibly low. I believe we have full inspiration, so we'll try one more time, but that's it. Nope. Okay, I'm not going to waste any more inspirations here on this. What it does is gives you advantage on the other checks that are, or the final check that you're going to have, the final perception check.
You stare, but glean no ill intent from the clown. Perhaps the makeup just threw you off.
Come now! Don't be a cowardly Connie! Perhaps you need a little encouragement! Now! Up! Double sharp! Or poor Buddy here might think you don't like him. A round of applause for the stalwart heart! Now, I always tell children that they're special, that each and every one of them is unique. Tell me, what makes you special?
Okay, so I failed the perception check there as well. I'm just going to be failing all of these checks.
No. I don't care about your special friends. I'm talking about you. You, my friend, are the most special person in the circus, in all of Baldur's Gate. Does anyone know why?
Why?
You're special, my friend, because I have a message just for you. Praise the Absolute.
You sense something behind you. Instinct takes over.
Okay. So that last perception check is the one that's really important. If you don't make it, you're going to get knocked off of the buddy will knock you off the stage all the way back here. And you'll take damage because of it and possibly end up getting a surprise round against you as well. So it's really the final check that is the one to pass, and that first insight check will give you advantage on it passively in the background when you make it. Luckily, we made it here for ourselves, but now we can deal with the ambush here. Dribbles, Bitey Buddy, and the two animal tamers have now gone hostile. Okay. Now, we're starting with Karlach here. And again, I'm not going to use... I probably can use Nyrolna against Karen here. And I can move Karlach without getting an attack of opportunity. So, yes, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to move Karlach out of the way over here. Karlach is not shapeshifted. Oops. So I'm going to throw Nyrolna here.
1, 2.
Okay, then I'm going to throw Nyrolna again. Alright, and we're down to 3 hit points. I'm going to end up killing Karen here in a second. Actually... yeah, actually, let's do this instead. Okay, so she saved against it, but now Karen's going to turn around and probably try and attack Karlach. Remember, Karlach has defensive procs, so if she gets hit, she's going to cause damage in return, and that will probably end up killing Karen. Otherwise, Karen will try and run over here and attack Fred or Highwire Hilda. So I want to prevent that from happening. Now for what's happening on stage, I want to get Shadowheart to drop a darkness up here. Okay, that's going to blind both Bitey Buddy and Dribbles the Clown.
Let's go. Still on my feet.
And now for me, I can... let's first look at their resistances. See if they have any. None. And none. So we will reapply Hex on Dribbles the Clown. Hey, I'm going to be attacking with advantage, so that means Render of Mind and Body is going to be proccing. Astarion rolled later in initiative, so I'm not going to be able to make either one of them vulnerable to psychic damage. And I didn't take my short rest either. I just came in completely unprepared for this, chat. Well done, me. Okay, I'll take the opportunity attack. There you go. So exactly like I expected there. She was going to hit Karlach. Karlach was going to respond. And that was going to kill her. So now we'll move up with Astarion, and I'm going to get all the way up here by jumping. This is going to incur an attack of opportunity. So 69. But I'm only going to have one bonus action. Oh, I can't because I'm out of key points too. Jeez, I just did not prepare. I should have looked a little bit more. I think with disadvantage on Dribbles the Clown, I'll probably be okay instead. Let's deal with Ryland here, and then I'll make my way up there with Astarion afterward. I can use the bonus action unarmed strikes here. Kill Ryland here. Go invisible. I can dash. Make my way up here.
On my way.
Okay, so now they're going to be steeped in bliss. So they are now vulnerable to psychic damage. Dribble's going to go after him. Oh, he didn't. That's the first time I've seen Dribbles do that. Okay, now with Dribble surrounded by a bunch of NPCs, I cannot throw Nyrolna here.
That's it. Never a dull moment.
46. I'll jump down here. Still hexed.
Can't give up.
28. There's nothing that I really need to do here. He won't get another turn. Sacred Flame is so garbage.
Come on then.
Okay, that ends Dribbles the Clown.
Let's move.
And use my other bonus action here. There we go.
Another shifter. Shame. I thought we were killing a
I didn't
red
expect Dribbles to come off and attack Quentin. There's no downsides to losing any of the NPCs. I try and save them all, but yeah, again, that was my first time having him do that. I didn't expect him to do it. So let's first of all go in here and make sure I have something else done. Because Karlach needs to be shapeshifted. And yeah, I'm definitely going to do that, Philip. And then does my bard have Song of Rest? Yes.
I can keep going a little longer now.
Okay. So yeah, just was not prepared for that at all. So let's do a little... First of all, let's go talk. And now you can see the cage door is no longer red. We can search the two doppelgangers out here and get the beast cage key. Now we can go unlock the door. and we can talk to Crimson.
Your scent. Your friend freed me from hunger's lust. Forgive me. I was close to killing you, killing everyone. I am ashamed. The circus is my family. They rescued me when I was but a youngling. They did not starve me. The other did. He wore the face of Dribbles, or the scent of a stranger. He taunted me, waving bloodied rags under my nose. My mind was worn from the hunger. Thank you for calming me before I hurt my family.
Okay, so Crimson's not going to leave. He wants to stay here. He was just being basically tortured by the doppelganger here, so he wants to stay. You can search the other doppelganger and you'll find the same key again.
If not over.
So let's go search Bum here. And we can read the letter. And in this, you learn that the Murder Tribunal has requested that Dribbles die by the fact that Fum wants to become one of their order, so to speak. And that's why the doppelganger is here. Now you're going to get two important things here. A face painting kit, which we talked about before when we talked about Zara the Mummy over there. You're going to be able to pick up one of these. And then the clown hammer. Now the clown hammer is a very, very interesting item. So whenever you land a critical hit, both the target and the attacker have to succeed a wisdom saving throw or be affected by fits of laughter. And the fits of laughter is Tasha's hideous laughter. It's the same spell effect as that spell gives. So if you land a crit, you can knock them prone and basically knock them out of the fight. Every time they take damage or their turn ends, they have to pass another saving throw to be able to shake off the effect, or they stay writhing on the ground. But it says that the target and the attacker have to succeed a wisdom saving throw. Now, Dribbles was using this clown, or this hammer. So why would Dribbles want to use this if he could possibly affect himself? The reason for it is that Dribbles was dressed up with a face painting kit. He had clown makeup on. This is not told anywhere in the game, but if you are wearing clown makeup from the face painting kit, then you will never fail the check on the clown hammer when you land a critical hit. You will never be affected by the fits of laughter portion of it. You will only be affecting your target. And that can make clown hammer pretty powerful. Especially if you're on a crit hit build, where you've dropped your critical hit chance down to 15 or 16 or something like that, and you're critting 25% of the time that you hit. This can be incredibly useful. You combine this with Killer Sweetheart and the Executioner trait, and Luck of the Far Realms being able to guarantee you a critical hit, and now you can focus somebody that you definitely want to knock out of a fight. Now again, they have to have a wisdom saving throw to be able to pass it. But as we talked about last week, there are certain things that help you overcome that. And I'm going to put these rings back on. Specifically right now, we're using Arcane Synergy to gain damage equal to our spellcasting damage modifier, which is +3 right now. But we did pick up the circlet last time. I believe. That gains you, or that gains the enemy mental anguish. Or maybe it was a ring. Yeah, I'll have to go back and look. We picked up an item that gives you mental anguish. Whenever you cause psychic damage, it inflicts the mental anguish trait on the enemy. And mental anguish drops their intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws by -1 for every turn of it they have inflicted. So if we're inflicting psychic damage multiple times a turn, we can drop somebody's saving throw against the Tasha's Hideous Laughter down quite a bit to be able to make this wisdom save much harder to avoid. Okay. And yeah, I thought it was too. It's in here somewhere. I'll have to go look around for it and see where it is. But yes, you combine those things together and the Clown Hammer can actually be really powerful. And especially at debilitating enemies just with landing that critical hit. It's not a build that I'm going to be focused on this time, so I'm just going to send it off to camp. But keep it in mind that it can be quite useful as long as you stock up on face painting kits from Zara the Mummy over here. Well, let's cast Speak with the Dead on Thumb.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
I killed him. Bathed in his blood. A death worthy of the list. Of the tribunal. The greatest honor of them all. Mistress needed his body parts for her art. To sow chaos. It is his will.
You feel a rush of power, dark and insidious. Something prevents the corpse from answering. The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Okay, so we're going to learn quite a bit more about the Murder Tribunal here in a little bit. We do want to cast Guidance on Shadowheart and move up here around behind Dribble's tent.
That's curious.
Okay, and in here you're going to find a note from Business Lord Hopper. You can learn about, "Hi, Ratty. Sorry for killing you, but Proper wanted the tasty hand you found. Lots of love, Popper." Okay, and there's a rat corpse in here. Okay, and there's also a scroll of Fire Shield, which we will pick up. And now you know that the rat found a body part. And we just learned about Dribbles the Clown's body. So let's go look at Bitey Buddy here. Okay, nothing there. So now let's go talk to Lucretius real quick. She's now come down. She's waiting for us.
What's up for discussion?
Oh dear. Screaming children, an oozing corpse, and it's not even my birthday. Lucretius, ringmaster, necromancer, bringer of the night. Oh, and wine lover extraordinaire. It's a pleasure, darling. I thought the Absolute wouldn't dare set foot in my circus. To use such a woeful Dribbles impersonator, why, it's downright rude. When you run a plain-hopping circus of ragtags and ruffians, few things faze you. Alas, I cannot afford to lose any more staff. Funerals are so very expensive. I need to move the circus, but I cannot leave just yet. Not without Dribbles. He was a star. Customers of every color and creed simply adored him. I need him back, and I'll shower the person who finds him in love, adoration, and adequate compensation. What do you say? Oh well, at least he won't complain about extra rehearsals anymore. Find his corpse for me, will you, darling? I'll resurrect him. The show must go on after all. Perhaps I'll make some improvements along the way. Huh. I can respect that. And you're in luck, because I am old, darling. Ancient. I have seen stars explode and civilizations fall. Along the way, I happened across items of such power that would make you weep with awe. Find my Dribbles. You won't be disappointed. That's the spirit, darling. And remember, I look after those who make me happy. Good luck, and thanks ever so much.
Okay, now you're going to get a reward from her, but also in the back of her tent is an opulent chest. Now, the detection cones back here are really, really weird. They have a detection cone that sometimes pops out of nowhere back here on this chest. So if you're going to sneak in and try and steal from this chest, be very careful when you do it, and it's probably best to use greater invisibility to do it. Otherwise, invisibility, you're probably going to get caught. These mage, or these roaming hands that are out here, they move really fast, and one of them can actually get stuck here in this corner and permanently put a detection cone over the top of that chest. So, like I say, they can kind of pop out of nowhere and surprise you while you're in the middle of doing it. So, we're going to save that for later. We don't necessarily need what's in it for now. And I don't want to risk angering anybody here, because you will anger them and you will end up in combat if you are detected while doing it. So, for now, we've got one more thing to do here in the circus, and that's going over here and talk to Popper, because remember, we just saw Popper's note, and he found a body part. As we saw last time, that body part is right here. Okay. So, how much? I've got plenty of gold. So, we're going to go take the severed hand.
Oi! Give that back! It's my special hand! I found it by the clown man's tent. Fought a rat for it and everything's. It's a one-of-a-kind hand with artisanal bite marks. It's worth lots.
Okay, now you can pay 10,000 here. if you want. If you say that you'd rather take it from his cold dead corpse, you will get into combat with him and with other people here in the camp. So I don't want to do that. I'm going to take the persuasion option here. There's my first nat one. Let's not have another.
All right. Mama Lucretia says we family. Suppose that means Dribbles was too. Yeah. But don't tell nobodies I gave it to you for free. Got to protect my reputation as a tough business lord.
Now, some of the other options, you will not get the hand for free. It may cost you 100 gold or something like that, but the persuasion option is going to make him give you the hand for free. And that should get me the clown's severed hand. This is one of 6 body parts from Dribbles that you have to find. They all weigh a lot. His hand weighs 8 pounds. That hand is huge. But yeah, we need to send it off to camp so that we're not carrying it around. But yeah, that's the first one that we're going to find. We're going to be coming across one more here in the lower city fairly quickly. Or I mean in Rivington fairly quickly. But the other 4 we're going to need to be in the lower city to find. So this quest is going to be continuing for a while now. Okay, now one thing that we ran into last time that I said I wanted to explore was when we picked up the gemless ring down by the shore. Okay, I said I was going to explore this, and I found out what the other part of it is. So we're going to head to Rivington waypoint. We're going to go talk to Ferg down here again. And for this, I'm going to drop my shapeshift. Okay, thank you. That little pause after you end shapeshift is annoying.
Welcome. You see to peruse the special goods, I take it.
Okay, Ferg in here is going to have the ringless gem. Okay, it's always going to be 1 gold when you buy it. I might as well get rid of a few things while I'm here. Oh, and you notice the meat that you pick up to talk to Crimson with doesn't get used. It just comes back into your inventory.
Now to just put the pieces back together.
And now you can combine these two. It's going to open up a window. You can drag the ring into it, and you can combine them. And you get the tarnished ring. Now, there's nothing special about this. There's no quest that goes along with it. This is actually the same ID in the game code as a couple of other tarnished rings. But the only thing you can do with this one is sell it. We bought the gem for 1 gold.
You see to peruse the special goods, I take it.
And now we can sell it for 29. Okay. But that's all it gives you. There's nothing else special about it. So now we're going to head over to the Open Hand Temple and do some explorations there.
No, little one, but you'll be in a big, cozy bed soon enough.
You're going to hire all the refugees.
Okay, so we'll make our way down here real quick. I do want to check my inventory. Okay, I do have it. And this is the open hand temple here. Now, we've explored a bit around the outside of it through the Circus of the Last Days. Found a back entrance here to the Circus of the Last Days from the open hand temple. And we've explored around the bottom here. And if you remember, there was a cave down here in the... Can't remember exactly where it is. Somewhere down in here or something that gets you into an area underneath here. We're going to go in this the way the game intends us to. So let's head in here and we'll start picking up a quest.
We loved Father Logan as you did. We would never hurt him.
The crying one weeps today. Our Father Logan is dead. Murdered. I don't want to talk. My heart is in mourning.
Okay, so we did pick up a couple of journal entries. First, we know about finding Dribbles the Clown, but Help the Spirit of the Amulet has now updated. We found this a long time ago. When we picked up this amulet in the Underdark over near where the lava elemental was. And now it is finally updated. Because we needed to find Shira. And we're going to be finding Shira down in the basement underneath this. So that is the first quest that's going to update.
We let more outsiders in and more Baldurians die. Duke Stelmane, Father Lorcan, it's no coincidence.
We have faith here, Bill. Faith in people, no matter where they're from.
Who had more faith than Father Lorcan? How did that work out? Exactly. Lorcan let a killer into our temple due to his misguided compassion. His faith got him murdered.
Bill, I beg you, be quiet. Even sinners receive Ilmater's grace, and Father Lorcan knew that. We don't pick and choose who we aid. Thank you, stranger. I take some solace knowing that he died in Ilmater's service.
Does Ilmater's service involve protecting heretic absolutists? Or perhaps I missed that sermon.
Enough, Bill. You seem a kind soul. Our temple is open to you. Walk well.
Okay, and we're going to get an inspiration for that. And that's why I wanted to have that conversation, is because we need to get our inspirations back up. All of the stuff in here is going to be marked as steel, but we need to have a conversation here.
Look, investigator. Brilgor might have been a criminal, but he was no murderer. You're missing something. You have to be.
Enough, Yanis. Listen to yourself. You are defending a man who ritually slaughtered your high priest. The evidence speaks for itself. Brilgor killed Father Lorcan, then, be it out of shame or profane duty, offed himself with the same blade. Case closed, Sister Yanis.
Shitey little elephant. Oh, I apologize, stranger. Language like that hardly befits a rector of Ilmater.
Okay, yeah, Valeria is the most annoying Hollyfunt ever in a game. But yeah, we'll be dealing with Valeria a little bit later after this.
You could certainly say that. 2 people just died on temple grounds. Our high priest, Father Lorcan, and one of the new refugees, Brilgor. Investigator Valeria thinks it's a murder, and is content to blame Brilgor, the politically convenient target. Brilgor was a refugee. No one sticks up for them at the best of times, and with Gortash in power, well, I expect the Flaming Fists will ban refugee aid now one of them's blamed for murder. You think Ilmater looks at a Baldurian differently to anyone else? I like to think the gods are smarter than that. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've a temple to run, and a high priest to replace.
Hey, we're gonna talk to Sister Yanis again.
Yes? Can I help you? Thank you. Ilmater smiles upon us this day, but feel free to look around the temple. The killing happened in the kitchen cellar. Could be a good place to start. Valeria never found the murder weapon. That would be definitive proof that they missed something. Logan's in the room behind us with Sister Rose. Brilgor's buried out back, through the kitchen and the dormitories.
And one more time.
How goes the search?
Okay, and here we're going to deal with this quest.
Shira. I can tell you where to find her, but you might find the conversation rather one-sided. She's buried in the temple crypt. Passed only last year. Poor thing.
Okay, so that's going to update both of those. Shira's dead. We need to go find her down in the crypt. And we're going to go look at some bodies here. To start that off, we're going to head this way. And here we are with Sister Rose.
What ails you? Marsh fever? Feather lung? Be quick, I've not got all day. What do you want to know? I reckon Investigator Valeria is right. One of the refugees killed him. Cruelly, too. They cut off his hand, sawed right through the bone. I found a paralytic poison on one of his wounds. Logan was alive while they took the hand. He just couldn't scream. It's sick. We give them everything. And all we get is nothing but a good man to bury.
Okay, so let's cast Speak with the Dead on Father Lorgan and see what his corpse has to say.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Tunnels from the cellar. Refuge. Hiding Brilgor from fists. Took him to the tunnel with the rest. Oh, fool. Dwarf, dressed in red.
The corpse remains silent. It does not know. The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Okay, so we learned quite a bit there about what's been happening. And we're going to take Lorgan's chest key as well. You can take that without any repercussions. Most of the other stuff in here is marked as steal, so be careful. There are a couple of things down this way that we can look at. Okay, nothing special in any of these books, but we can pick them up. And for some reason you are able to steal the portrait, or take the portrait without stealing it. Okay, so we'll head out the back door here, and I'm going to head up here. into this room. Now this takes you into the clock tower. Or I mean into the bell tower, sorry. No clock on this on this one. Okay, and there's a burnished necklace up here in this nest. Now, if you also are paying attention, you see that there's a Tressum out here. We're going to have an interaction here as part of another quest a little bit later, but keep that in mind because we will be coming back here. We won't be coming up this way, but we will be coming back here for that. And a Tressum is basically just a cat with wings in tabletop. Okay, we can go next door here and talk to Brother Donick.
I've said all I have to say already. Now I just want to pack up my kitchen and leave. I know it's not fair. This was the best job I ever had. Lorgan was kinder than most, and now they're blaming a refugee for his death. Typical. We tossed Brilgor out back.
Okay, and you see the bloodstains on the floor. This is the hatch that takes you down into the cellar. It's marked with a quest marker here. We're not going to go that way yet. We're going to head over here to this door. And this is going to take us down into the dormitory. Okay, now there's nobody down here. These are marked as steel, but you are free to take from them.
Breathe quiet. Move.
Okay, now Lorgan's chest here. You're going to get a passive investigation check.
A double bottom.
And there is a book here that talks about the fact that he's been hiding refugees from the angry hordes of people that are out here.
These boots have seen everything.
And now we want to bring Astarion over to this chest. Okay, now for this, we definitely want to have our ring on to improve sleight of hand. We'll be ready to cast guidance on ourselves.
For a skeleton key.
We don't need it for this one. I thought this was a higher DC than it was.
Just like
Because in this chest you find the Seraphic Pugilist gloves. This is the final one, I think, in the set of gloves that deal elemental damage. This one allows you to deal radiant damage. So if you're going up against undead, it's a good set of gloves to have on you. And then pairing this with the radiant passive damage that Astarion can change to, you really have an upper hand here for some extra damage against undead. So we should, if we kind of look at them all, we have fire damage, we have radiant damage, we have cold damage, and we have thunder damage. And then with the Helldust gloves, we have necrotic damage. So we have a lot of the elemental options now for dealing additional damage with our attacks, in addition to the toggleable passives for necrotic, radiant, and psychic damage as well. So don't forget about those gloves.
Let's get in and out. What path lies before me?
Oops.
That's a friendly looking shadow.
Alright, we're gonna head out this back door. It's marked red, but don't worry about it.
What path lies before me?
And For some reason, I don't have an alchemy pouch on me. Oh, it's because I gave it to Karlach because of the weight. Where's the balsam that I just picked up? I might just be blind. Okay. And now we're going to go out here and find Brilgor's body. Okay, now they told us it was dumped out back. This is not very intuitive. The game actually goes through what I think is a fairly deceitful way of trying to hide this from you, in my opinion. Again, honor mode, we're going to pick everything up.
Step quick.
And here's the graveyard. Okay, now there's an open grave here, so you would expect that Brilgor's body would be around here somewhere. Okay, it is not. Yeah, you can walk around through all of this. Hey, there's some biscuits here. That we can pick up. There's another shovel right here we can pick up. Okay. And you can walk all the way back over to the back entrance to the Circus of the Last Days. Alright? And there's nothing here. You can try and dig on these graves and everything. It's because Brilgor's body is not here. Brilgor's body is tucked around the corner here in the dark in this dirt mount.
Where am I? What's going on?
Okay, here's Brilgor's body. You can drag it out here.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Pierced. Once. Paralyzed. Tunnels beneath temple. Hidden from sight. Concealed buttons. Lorgan opened for me. Father Lorgan helping me. Dwarf. Red clothes. Stranger.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Okay, so looking at our quest log, we've learned a few things here. We need to get down into the temple crypt. We learned that there's a hidden tunnel that we need to find some concealed buttons to open. And we've learned that they were both killed by this dwarf in red clothes. Okay, so let's head back in here and we'll head back up to the kitchen. And head down into the crypt. Okay, and I'm going to take a little bit because I don't want to have to come back here to do some searching while we're walking around. And it's pretty quick, but there are quite a few things that we can click on down here.
What's in here?
Okay, so we'll just quickly loot all of these items, pick up the items off the shelves that we can. Crazy pathing. Okay, most of this up here I don't think you can reach. I don't know if you can throw that. You can. Okay, but it does disappear. Most food items, when you throw them, will disappear when they hit the ground, so there's no use trying to throw them to get them out of a difficult spot. There are a few exceptions, but for the most part, they all break. Okay, a couple last things here, and we can open the double doors. Okay, you're going to get into this room here, and this room has 3 exits out of them. 2 of them are readily accessible, and the other one is kind of hidden. So, let's take Astarion in here first. Let's look and see who has alert. Okay, so my bard has alert, so we're going to send my bard in there first. But we will use Astarion to search through here. There's a few things that we can pick up. Nothing in particular that is quest related or anything like that. And again, nothing in anything here on the desk is quest related or important. Just items that we can sell later on. Okay, one more thing here, and then we're going to head into a room. Now, before you head in here, make sure that you have the Sentient Amulet on you. Okay, we picked this up, like I say, a long time ago in the Underdark. So make sure you have this on you when you go in here. Make sure my rings are what I want them to be. Yes, they are. So the 25 armor class. Actually, we don't need Killer's Sweetheart for this. Let's up that with the Ring of Protection for 26. And we're going to head in here with the quest marker. We don't have to be in hiding for this.
A crypt.
Okay, and now this plaque back here is going to trigger a cutscene to happen, but it's going to be delayed. Okay, what we want to do is trigger it, and then we want to move back here to the spot.
Here we go.
Here lies Sister Shira Clawin, date of birth unknown, died 1491 DR.
Here it is. The tomb of the Amulet Spirit's granddaughter. Time for a family reunion.
Okay, now you're going to see something happen down here at the sarcophagus. And this whole thing takes a little bit of time to play out.
Can't slow down.
Actually, it might be, yeah, I'm sorry, it's, you have to click on this first. There you go.
Darling Shira, faithful to the crying god, long didst I wait, only to find thine empty flesh. Gone, thou might be, alas.
Okay, and then he's going to possess the body. Okay, and now we're going to have a cutscene.
murdered Shira. Her spirit hath fled, and her body but merely a husk. Swear I did to shed this foul mania and bestow it upon Shira. She was to endure, to suffer, as was her god Ilmata's wont. Who now shall bear the madness Shah has wrought on me, so I might no longer suffer? Oh, shall it be thou?
Okay, so there are a couple of different ways to play this out. You can bear the curse. However, there are a fairly stiff check that you have to pass, either Wisdom or Constitution, I believe, to be able to avoid the negative consequences. And if you fail them, you get a permanent loss of 1 wisdom point. If you pass them all, you don't lose any wisdom, and you gain the ability to cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter spell once per long rest. It doesn't take a spell slot to do it, but you gain the ability to do it once per long rest. It's a fairly steep price to pay, just for gaining access to Tasha's Hideous Laughter once per long rest. So it doesn't seem to me like that is the best option there. You can also choose to reject the curse. You can try and pass an Arcana check here to find out what the consequences of accepting it are. Again, I'm not really interested in passing this. Every time I say that, I roll a 15 and pass it.
The monk himself holds your answer. Tasha's Hideous Laughter is a powerful skill, but earning it may come at the cost of wisdom.
Okay, so we're going to reject the curse, though, here.
Well, if laugh I must, let our alliance end on a lark.
Okay, and that's going to start a fight. Now, the reason I move back is because they roll really well on initiative. It's pretty hard to beat all of them, and if you move all the way back here, then you are able to... They all have to dash to get to you, and they can't make a round of attacks against you. If you stay out here in the middle, then all of them may roll in front of you in initiative, and you can get beat up pretty quick. So me running back here kind of gives me an opportunity to stay a little safer from these attacks. I'm actually going to move back just a little bit into this doorway here a little more. And let me look at their resistances. So they are immune to poison, but not necrotic. Okay, so I'm going to use a ranged slashing flourish to go after Shira. Okay. And now I'm going to move up with Karlach. With me rolling in front of them in initiative, they're staying back at the back. Now the problem here is whether or not I can throw through the stupid door. This idiotic you can't do ranged attacks through a door thing. We'll see. Yep, see? So... I can get all the way up here, but as soon as you click on him... Oh, look at that. I just barely... If I click on his toe, I can get it through the door. Okay. So we're going to frenzy here.
Easy.
Okay. And that's going to get rid of Shira.
Eternally cast then, my spirit be. No. Morning Lord, I call to thee, lend your forbearance. No.
Okay. And
I hate it had to end like this. A torturous fate by any measure.
everyone else, all the other enemies in here are going to be dead. Okay. So if we look at Astarian's inventory, though, the amulet has now changed. The amulet now is upgraded to very rare. It keeps the shatter spell. It loses the ability to speak with the sentient amulet, and you get key restoration. Okay, the key restoration is an action once per long rest where you can restore the number of key points equal to your martial arts die. Now, amongst martial arts die starts out at 1d6. That's how much damage they deal with their unarmed strikes. At level 9, it goes up to 1d8, and I can't remember where the next transition is to 1d10. But right now, my martial arts die, based on my monk level, because remember, I am not full monk, I'm level 7 monk, should be 1d6. So if I look at damage, my total damage from my unarmed attack is 1d6. So what this means is that whenever, once per long rest, I can use the sentient amulet to recover 6 key points. Okay, now Astarian has 8 key points per short rest, so this effectively gives him an entire short rest worth of key points that he can utilize. Okay, so it's a pretty powerful thing to have. And I need to put back on the Eversight ring here. It's a pretty powerful thing to have to gain back those key points, because all of these major attacks are all based off key points, and if you don't have any, you significantly gimp the amount of damage that your monk is able to do. So, a good amulet to have here. Oops, let's stay in the room here.
Whispers. Don't burn yourself. Moving it.
Real quick, because we can search the bodies. Okay, protection from energy. Meh. Okay, and I don't think there's anything else in here. Nope, there's not. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is group everybody up.
Time for a soft touch.
We're going to bring Shadowheart in here, and we're going to break her off
Onward.
to head through this door. We're going to cast Guidance. She should have the Justiciar's Great Shield, so she has advantage on perception checks. Okay, and there's the trapped display case.
Don't touch me. Over here.
And I think it's this one that we definitely want to have these both on. Yes, this is DC 20. Okay, so I've thrown on all the bonuses that I can give myself. That might be a big number. Rolled well. 39. Nice. And then there's a lockpick, which is, again, DC 20. And in here, you normally find a potion of some type. So what's his carry weight like? We're fine. We're going to go search this room. Scroll of Dominate Person is really nice. Arcane Lock is very useful. So we'll just pick up all the stuff here.
Let's have it.
There's nothing special about any of these books or anything. You can just pick them up. Some healing potions, nice. Otto's Irresistible Dance, very similar to Tasha's Hideous Laughter, with some other bonuses. And then you can see here that we have another way to head out here. You can jump across this to get to this area out here. We're gonna, well, I mean, I guess I can do it right now. I'm not gonna go this way. But I can show it to you. Okay, and this will continue on, and you can jump over to this side. Now we're gonna approach this area from a different way, so we're not gonna go that way yet. There's no point in trying to get everybody to be able to jump across this gap.
Still breathing, despite everything.
Okay, so now we get to this last one. You can see that there's obviously something here. And remember, Baldur said that there were concealed buttons. There are these heraldic signs that you can move up on each side.
Better not be cursed.
And there's 2 buttons. Did I see a pick down here? Oh no, just, yeah, there's a pick right there. So some more stuff I can pick up and sell later. Okay, now in here I'm going to go into hiding.
Looks empty.
And make sure that we've got Astarion back.
Better make my next move.
Quiet. What's in here?
Okay, and as we go, we're going to search a little bit, not too much, because you're going to see something start appearing over here. Okay, there's another way over here just to look, but there's nothing else that you can see over here. We're going to take everybody around to this point here. You can see there's a couple of pathways. Down here will get you up here. Down this way will get you down and around behind everybody. There's also a couple of other pathways. And I'm going to take Karlak with me. I'm not going to do any searching yet while we go through these rooms. We'll search it all here in a little bit. We're going to come in here, and I want to break my group here, because Rudd will turn around, and his detection cone will extend into this room. And you want to be a little careful when he does that. And now I can move up to here. Karlach is going to move across to the other side. And you can see that the detection cones overlap Rudd, but there will be a point where the people down below turn and talk to each other, and Rudd will be uncovered. Just like right there. And that's the time I'm waiting for to initiate my attacks against him. I'm getting Karlach over here because this is the high ground.
You do well to think on that.
Okay, so turn-based mode doesn't work when I'm that far away, so I'm going to wait for the detection cones to line up again, and then I'm going to move out there, and I'm going to attack Rudd with a mobile flourish melee and try and push him off of this cliff.
Keep an eye out, brethren.
So we'll wait for the two down below Zom here to turn.
Fun job, Zom. Be patient, child.
There you go.
You are a weapon, my sweet.
Okay. So that's going to get us a surprise round. We're going to group all of the enemies up down here.
I could go for a good meal.
Which is what we want, because we're going to move Karlach over here. And have Karlach throw Nyrolna down here into the middle of them. Okay, and that's going to damage everybody. We'll throw it again.
Go on.
Okay. And just after that, you can see we're causing some good AoE damage against everybody down
No
here.
choice but to keep going.
So I'm going to now bring Shadowheart into this.
Off I go.
That's actually not great. Let's not stand with our back to the cliff. Or to the chasm. Let's move up here instead. I'll try and tuck myself into this corner. And then all the detection cones disappear. Now Astarion can go down here and just start wreaking havoc. Make sure that is the Eversight ring, yes. So he's immune to being blinded. Let's get in here and see who we want to attack first. So how about Zom?
Well, someone fancies himself.
Okay, well that will end Zom. That will end Muzz. And that will end Rudd. Monk OP.
Ready. Unseen.
I've got a long road ahead.
Monk OP.
Can't afford any mistakes.
Okay, so let's bring everybody down here.
Give up now.
We'll leave Karlach up there for now. And now we find that they're all doppelgangers as well. So let's cast Speak with the Dead on Zom.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
No. Dolor did. Splendid. Kill.
The corpse remains silent. It does not know. The corpse tries to speak, but something prevents it.
And that's the second time we've seen that happen.
A blood-red dwarf. Tricky. Hungry. Cleaning up. Dolor. Messy. Left his dagger. Careless.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
And that last line is an important clue. Okay, that he left his dagger down here. And now we can try and find it. So I'm going to cast Guidance on Shadowheart. And there's the perception check. And inside the hole you find the Stillmaker. Now this is what he used to paralyze his enemies before he killed them. And that's because he used the Hold Person enchantment on this dagger to be able to paralyze them. Okay. Now, this does not do necrotic damage. That is coming from Shadowheart. But this does allow you to cast Hold Person, which is a very powerful enchantment spell once per long rest. Now, where this really comes in is, again, if we're using a dual-wielding bard in this case, and we have this in our offhand or something like that, if we're able to strike an enemy with psychic damage and with the render of mind and body and cause mental anguish against them and lower their resistance to the wisdom save here, again, Hold Person can land a lot more often. And Hold Person is an easy win button because all melee attacks are criticals, automatic critical hits. And that's something we're going to be exploring later when we get into a couple of boss fights. The other thing that goes along with this is allowing us to cast enchantment spells and illusion spells as bonus actions once we inflict that damage. And
let's move.
And we have an item that we picked up last time that allows us to do that. So after you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can cast illusion or enchantment spells as a bonus action. And that includes Tasha's Hideous Laughter. That includes Hold Person as well. So what we could do is walk up to an enemy, not use our bonus action to reapply Hex, but hit them with Render of Mind and Body, dealing psychic damage. We could also hit multiple targets using a Slashing Flourish melee to inflict psychic damage on multiple targets, lowering their wisdom save by causing mental anguish, then using our bonus action to cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter or the Hold Person that comes off of that dagger. Okay, so that's where things can be really interesting, is if you can exploit the synergies that go along with these particular items that we're picking up.
Wanna dance?
So let's
Whatever it takes.
Have Shadowheart do some searching here. Pretty sure she can handle some weight. And we'll just pick up all of the items down here real quick. Crawler Mucus is amazing. Being able to possibly paralyze your target for 10 turns. And this is where you learn more about Dolor and what he's doing. He's an aspirant. He's trying to aspire to the murder tribunal. And he needs to commit a bunch of murders to do it. And that's what these murders are related to. And here's the clown's severed torso. You're always going to find a memo from Orin down here about her using these body parts for something. Again, we're going to send these off to camp because all these body parts weigh a lot.
A piece of clown, going by the color. Dribbles, I presume.
Okay, so we'll continue searching down here. And we get the flowery key. That's going to open up something else in our journal that we'll look at here in a second. Okay, so the flowery key here, if you look at the description, it says this key is inscribed with the address of Frago's Flophouse in Wyrm's Crossing. All right. Now that is also reflected in the fact that it's updated our open hand temple murder quest to say that we found a flowery key and we need to go find out where it is. And then if you examine the key, it tells you that we need to go to Frago's Flophouse. And that's what we're going to be doing here in a little bit. Now Karlach is going to go searching around up here. Pick up all the miscellaneous items that are up here. And then we're going to head out to Frago's Flophouse.
Where to?
Okay, so a few more things that we can pick up in here.
Hello.
Okay, and then down here you can see if we hover our mouse over it, you can see this is Cloud Kill. Okay, now Cloud Kill is poison based. Okay, so we're going to gain resistance to damage down here, but we don't want to dawdle while we're going through this. You can take an elixir of poison resistance, and it will make you immune to the poison damage down here. We're just trying to get down here, pick up the toadstool, search the chest, and that's it.
What's this? This'll be fun.
Okay. The perception check just lets you know about the vent that is letting the Cloud Kill out. So you can come down here and disarm the two vents and disperse the Cloud Kill, or you can just run down here, minimize the amount of damage you're going to take by putting on that ring that gives you resistance, so all your damage is cut in half from it, and pick up what you need and get out. No sense in wasting the elixir. And the last thing Karlach's going to go look at is inside this room. And now you can see the area where Father Lorgan was hiding tiefling refugees. Okay, none of the books mean anything or anything special about them. So, Vampiric Touch. Not bad. I think there are other better spells for melee range, but... Okay, and we'll just keep searching here real quick. And I think that's it. And again, this, just in that same way that we had Karlach come in, which leads you up top, but now we can climb the cragged rock and go down. Actually, we still have this room back here to search, I believe. Yes, we do. We did not search this when we were in here. What's in here is mostly rotten food and camp supplies. But it is honor mode, so we will pick all of this stuff up so that we can sell it. Okay, more camp supplies. A few crafting supplies mixed in here and there. And then this is where we just were that had the heavy chest. We jumped across here to look at this area. This is another way to access it. Okay, so we'll bring Karlach back. We'll group everybody up. And we're going to head out down toward the main entrance. Now, we came in this main entrance to look at this. We'll pick up these last few items here. We can climb down. Okay, this is where we came in, and we're going to exit this way, and you'll see that we're now down at the shore. Okay, now we recognize where we are. We're underneath Wyrm's Crossing Bridge. This is where we headed over toward the boats and that sort of stuff. Okay, so now you can see exactly where we are. So we're going to head back up here to the south span. And solving the open hand temple murders, we need to go to Brago's Flophouse, which is right here.
Everything is clear. I know you have. Moving in.
I don't mind it. Honestly.
Well, I do. Which means we're getting a real room.
And there's some NPCs in here that we can talk to.
Bloody ages we spent hiking from Murren. And they won't let us in the city proper. Bollocks. We're adventurous, damn it. The bridge god chatted some shite about a coronation. Couldn't really make head nor tail of it.
Okay, and this is going to start you down the path of figuring out how to get across the bridge into Wyrm's Rock Fortress. Okay.
I need a quick word. Come to Baldur's Gate, he said. Adventurers get welcomed as heroes, he said. Poxy Drim and his bleeding notions.
Now over here in the corner, Traveler Griska is actually a vendor, even though she's not marked as such.
Word to the wise. Give that ill-mater temple a wide berth. Rude buggers. Certainly not bringing my trade there again. Does that excuse being rude? Excluding folk? Come off it. They wouldn't let me in. Spouted some tripe about my sort and absolutist murderers. I only wanted to sit down a minute. So did I. Let me show you.
Okay, so she's going to sell a few potions and thieves' tools and some crafting supplies. I normally try and pick up the potions of speed. They're incredibly valuable. I don't want to sell anything else to her because I don't have her attitude up, but I will buy the potion of speed.
Pleasure doing business.
Sure, good. So, give me 3 days and... Oh, apologies. Thought you were someone else. Greetings, so forth, so on. How dare you? Accusing an upstanding citizen like me of being a dwarf? I'm a halfling, you oaf.
He has plans.
Okay, and then in here we have another vendor. Kelia
Now, you look famished. I've got some victuals that'll warm you right up. Have a skeg at these.
And here you can just buy camp supplies. Okay. So if you got an overabundance of gold, you can certainly sell the camp supply or buy the camp supplies here. Everything else in here is going to be marked as steel, so be careful what you click on. We're going to head upstairs. And Astarion is going to have a conversation here. Now, we want to separate Karlach from the party, and that's because right now she's got Nyrolna equipped. Nyrolna is not one of those items that is supposed to cause a reaction among undead. If you do have somebody that has equipped Lathander's Light, you definitely want to unequip this. Okay? Because as soon as you walk up there, it's going to cause a reaction amongst the two NPCs up here, and they can disappear without having the conversation. So, I'm going to actually just take everybody out of the party except Astarion and I. And we're going to head up here. Because you can see we've got a quest marker. It's not for this, though. It's these two right here. Deliria and Pale Petrus.
We should go. I do not want to face the Master if we're late for his Black Mass.
Soon, sister. I only need one more mark.
We have enough for the Master. No more are needed.
It's not for the Master, it's for me. I spent 100 years eating rats and dogs, but soon I'll be able to feast. I want someone there, ready for me. And once the Mass is done and our Lord grants us freedom, I can celebrate by drinking them dry.
Cazador promised you your freedom, and you believed him. Ha! You were never burdened with intelligence, Petras. But your load seems especially light these days.
Astarion! It cannot be.
Oh, that's no way to welcome back a brother, doll. Didn't you miss me?
Why would you come back? You got out. You were free.
Isn't it obvious, sister? He wants to ascend with the rest of us. He heard about the ritual and the power our master will grant us. So he came back with his tail between his legs, hoping all would be forgiven.
You always were an idiot, Petras. does Cazador need me? What is he planning?
Brother, please!
Tell me what I need to know, or I swear you'll burn.
The Master is preparing the Black Mass beneath his palace. There's a defiled chapel. It was hidden there the entire time, hidden from us all.
Keep talking.
The Black Mass. It will be his triumph. He'll complete the ritual and emerge the vampire ascendant. He'll walk in the sun. He'll be free of the hunger. He'll wield power no vampire has ever possessed. Best of all, we'll join him. His loyal servants walking in the light as living vampires. We'll be free, brother.
You can't believe that. You can't be that stupid.
We deserve this, Astarion. Can't you see? We've given him everything. Our blood and tears. And he's finally going to reward us. And you will be with us when the time comes. It's fate, written in your very flesh.
Yes, and they'll be trembling in fear when they tell him. They're no threat to us. And they have no choice but to do Cazador's bidding. I pity them. Still, though, a living vampire. Who wouldn't be interested? It's the ultimate freedom. Freedom from the hunger. Freedom to live a real life in the sun. No temple required. And if I were to ascend instead of him, freedom from Cazador, once and for all. Well, it might be. And there's only one way to find out. I have to know. I have to face him. I knew I was right about you. You're a true friend. And now we know he's skulking beneath his palace. We can take the hunt to Cazador. All right, let's go. This place stinks of rat blood and despair.
And that is something that we're going to be doing sooner rather than later, is dealing with Cazador. The way we're planning to deal with Cazador is going to be a significant combat boost for Astarion. Even as much as he is OP right now, he's going to turn into something that is just stupid once we play that out. So let's look at a couple of things. Okay, most everything in here is going to be marked as steel as well. So over here, we have a ladder to go up. See, our quest marker still says to go up. Okay, we have an outside here if you want to go sightsee down on the road a little bit. Okay, again, most of this is going to be marked as steel. But there is a wardrobe here. Now, wardrobe is opened by the flowery key. Okay, and now we want to make sure that Shadowheart again has guidance.
I must keep going.
There's the perception check.
Notice some blood has pooled on the wooden floor.
And there's an investigation check here we can make.
notice the blood's source. A body hidden under the bed.
Okay, so yeah, both a perception and an investigation check, which are two different stats. One's wisdom, one is intelligence. But the check isn't that hard to pass.
Never a dull moment.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Murdered by my son.
It's to be expected. Some families just don't get along.
Baldur.
The corpse remains silent. It does not know.
Found his secret. My sweet boy. Why? Dwarf like me. Dresses in red.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
So we found Fionn, who is Dolor's mother.
What's inside?
She has Fionn's key, which will be useful to us once we look at Sharess's caress.
I know this key. It's identical to the one held by that corpse in the tunnels.
Okay, and again, some stuff that we can pick up in here.
Let me at it.
There's a bloodstained note here, which is basically written at the start of when Dolor went around and started to collect hands, which is what he's been doing. Some decent spells. Telekinesis is incredibly funny to use, and can be incredibly useful to throw people into chasms. Okay, we have some other things that we can take a look at. Nothing really here.
A map of where the shifters have been, and Father Lorgan's name. The killer must have been in this room.
And here we have the bloodstained parchment. And this lets you know about the targets that Dolor is going after and why he's going after them. The murder tribunal was part of the Temple of Baal. He's already killed Stelmane, Father Lorgan, Dribbles the Clown, Alexander Rainforest, and Frank Peartree. Next on the list is Cora Highbury, a large home near Baldur's Mouth Gazette in the lower city. That's the next target, and that's probably where we're going to find Dolor. We won't deal with that until we get actually into the lower city. But for now, that's going to advance a bunch of quest lines, and we'll take a look at them all here in a second.
Yoink!
Irresistible Dance again. And here we have the Scarlet Leather Armor. It gains a +1 bonus to stealth checks. At this point in the game, it's pretty much worthless for us. Okay, so a couple of toxins. Crafting supplies. Okay, nothing here, but we do have some things on the shelf we can take. And on the table. Okay, so now we'll click back out here. And we'll head back down the ladder.
Light on my feet.
And out the door. Okay, so let's look at our journal here again real quick. And you can see that investigate the murders and solve the open-end temple murders are going hand in hand. Okay, so it says that we should show this list to Investigator Valeria. And that's now opening up a new quest under Orin, which is kind of telling you that these things are starting to intersect a little bit. Okay, and we learned that the murder tribunal was the one behind these murders, and you need to bring a severed hand as proof to enter the Temple of Baal. That's not going to happen for quite a while yet. Okay, and Astarian's quest line got advanced by meeting Delaria and Petrus, and we did complete the Spirit of the Amulet quest. Okay, so Valeria is inside Sharessa's caress here, but there is something else that we can take a look at first, because you can see we have a quest marker here. One, Arthur, when we kicked him out of his house, he showed up here. And then we have a few other things happening at Sharessa's caress. So there's the Free Orpheus quest, help Kithrak Voss and the Githyanki warrior are all advanced in here. And then Valeria is also in Sharessa's caress. So there's a bunch of quests that intersect inside there. We want to kind of make sure we're finished up with everything else before we do that, which is kind of the final amount or the final bit of content in Rivington and Wyrm's Crossing. But we're not done in Rivington yet. And that's because we haven't looked at Sword Coast Couriers here. Okay, now there's a couple of things. First, let's make sure that Shadowheart has guidance, because there is a perception check over here by the well, which we've already made, it looks like. And we're going to go around the back of Sword Coast Couriers. When you get here, you can make a perception check. You don't have to make it, though. If you do, it's going to highlight the fact that sitting in here is a key. The Sword Coast Courier's key. You can also just hold left alt and it's going to show it. Okay, let's head back around the front again. And we're going to go through these outside doors. Okay, one thing I want to do is make sure that I have that ring back. That gives me advantage on insight checks. Okay. So when we head in here, we're going to talk to Angry Marhia here.
Charming effort, but you can't fool me. You're not a dog. So what the hell are you doing in my kennels? Found him, did you? I can't say I'm surprised. Gomwick never kept him on a tight leash. Bring him here, and I'll give him a once-over for you. Check him for worms and so on.
Oh, yes, please, I'd love to see him.
He's a good dog. We'd both love to see him again.
Scratch! Oh, it's good to see you, boy!
Shut up, Dringo, and get back to work. And you've been slacking as well, Scratch, my boy. This dog is property of Sword Coast Couriers. I'll take him off your hands now. I can do whatever I please. He's my dog. Now get out. This is a private yard.
So I have a paladin option down here.
It's not just Scratch. She's always hurting the dogs.
Shut your mouth, Dringo. Last warning.
Okay, and here I'm going to make the deception check. I have deception and intimidation, both of which are the same chances. Okay, now this is a pretty hefty DC. So I'm going to cast Friends here and Guidance.
Fine. You think you can do a better job without me? Be my guest. They're a useless bunch of mongrels. You're welcome to them.
Because she's going to leave afterward. Okay, now when that wears off, she's probably going to be upset with me, but I don't think she's going to be in a position to actually come back, because yeah, I think she disappears afterwards. Okay, and you can see that Dringo is letting the dogs out. No pun intended.
Making Mistress go away. She was horrid.
Mistress is gone. Mistress is gone. I mean, such terrible news. She will be missed.
You got rid of her. I'll do a better job looking after these dogs than she ever did. I promise.
Hey, and Scratch has gone. He was just brought in for that portion of the cutscene. Okay. But now we're going to head into Sword Coast Couriers. And for this, I want to make sure that I have the Insight ring on. And I'm going to have Shadowheart cast Guidance on me.
Wretched thing, pull yourself together.
Ah, a new face. Welcome to Sword Coast Couriers. To send and to serve. Delivery not guaranteed. Well, we've had to change the policy. Hard to send letters by road when there's a rampaging army of fanatics bearing down on you. I'll tell you, it's left me in a right pickle. I've sent what I can by pigeon, but now something's attacking them and all. Become a postmaster, Danzo. It'll be easy. Nobody mentions having to spend your evenings hunting for pigeon carcasses, do they?
You sense there's more to his anxiety than a few missing letters.
Oh, well, one of the missing letters is my own correspondence. A personal matter, nothing serious. But you can understand if people think I can't even deliver my own letters, I'd be finished. Not the foggiest. Normally they fly true as an elven arrow. Something nearby is snatching them, I can tell you that much. You do that? Well, if it's not too much bother, yes, I'd appreciate the help. Bring me the letter, unopened, of course, and I'll happily compensate you for your troubles.
Okay, and that's going to bring us a new quest. Find the missing letters. Okay, and it says we need to look for missing pigeons. Now, I said we were going to go look at that tressum on the roof over here at some point, and we are. However, before we do that, we need to have Gale on our party. Okay, we can talk to Scratch also.
It's certainly good to be back at camp. How I've missed the smells. Indeed. And I'm sure Dringo will do a great job. He always took good care of me.
And now let's talk to Gale.
What's on your mind? Oh, nothing would give me greater pleasure. Which of our esteemed company am I stepping in for? Wonderful. Lead on, then.
Okay, now Gale can level up, but we don't really care.
Please, in the name of the crying one, have mercy.
I was supposed to sacrifice myself to stop the Absolute. Yeah, I don't think I could have gone through with it, in truth. And I'm glad that I didn't, given what has come to light.
This is about the orb, and when we met the Netherbrain down in the end of Act 2.
The Elder Brain. But more importantly, the crown that it wore. Even without seeing it for myself, I could sense it. Netherese magic. So pure, so complete. I doubted what I was feeling at first. Most Netherese artifacts contain only the faintest amount of their former power. The ghost of an echo of a memory. That crown was different. I can't fathom how such a wonder survived. Surely everything of its ilk was destroyed along with Netheril itself, but no matter. It exists. I must learn more of it. That crown sits on a gargantuan elder brain bent on destroying us and everything we hold dear. Understanding its true nature might unlock the means of our victory. We need to learn more about what we saw. An artifact as powerful as that crown must have been documented somewhere. As luck would have it, we'll soon find ourselves near one of the finest book collections this side of Candlekeep, Sorcerous Sundries. I need to go there and learn all I can. Ha! Sorcerous Sundries is no mere trading post. It's been serving the arcane community for centuries. Their collection of rare tomes is unparalleled. I mean, Netherese texts are hardly commonplace, but I'm certain they'll have one or two stashed away. You'll have to forgive my eagerness, but if my suspicions prove to hold water, this could be the answer to all our problems.
Okay, so that was because of, again, the conversation that Gale was not with us when we fought Ketheric. Philip mentioned something about talking to the pigeons. We can do that. It does not advance the quest, I don't think. But he's right in that it might give us an inspiration or something, so I normally head in this way. This is the locked door in the back, and this is what that key goes to.
Seems simple enough.
Oh, it will advance it because here they tell you why, or here they tell you where they went missing.
Pigeons are very sensitive. They can't fly straight if they're disturbed.
Okay, and I always start over here.
A little wet under the wing for our unit. The commander will soon straighten you out. I've no need of a wing man. Commander Lightfeather will give you your briefing.
And then Commander Lightfeather is here.
Name and rank! Quickly now! There's a war on! The Absolute! Poppycock! Enemy propaganda designed to confuse simple minds. Pah. Not your fault you fell for it. You need a strong leader like myself to see the wood under the trees. I am Commander Lightfeather, leader of the finest aerial communication regiment this side of the Chianza. State your purpose, Groundwalker. I don't have all day.
The quintessential British Army officer stereotype from the old days is classic to me here.
Damned awful business. Fine flyers, a lot of them. Gone without a trace. Intelligence is in short supply, but we know our enemies flanked us on the west side, not one rooftop away. We're avoiding the whole area. I won't lose one more beak to the blighter. If you pass that way, beware the sign of the featherless wings. From that rooftop, none return.
Okay, so that moves the quest marker. Now, we already knew what that was because I mentioned it earlier, but that does now move the quest marker over to the top of the open hand temple. So there's the quest marker. You can see it's up top. He mentioned one rooftop to the west. That would be right on top of the open hand temple, which is where we are now going. Okay. And we'll head out here to the courtyard and the ring of jumping we will transfer to Gale.
Lovely day this. I venture forth.
Now Gale's going to have to pass a perception check. Doesn't have to, but it'll happen passively.
Oh, I think that's another Tressum. With silver tongue.
Mr. Dakarios, heavens! Fancy seeing you here. I suppose you won't be terribly shocked to find your old friend Tara amongst the pigeons. They've always been a personal favorite. Oh, but that reminds me, I found you something. A lovely little keepsake. In the past, it might have helped with your condition, but now that you're better, perhaps you can put it to some other use.
For me? You shouldn't have.
I know, but I just love you so.
Tara, I don't suppose you're responsible for the missing messenger pigeons.
One needn't guess. Pigeon meat is my second favorite.
I'd offer you some of your favorite meat, but I haven't got any. Beholder jerky is surprisingly hard to come by.
More's the pity, but no bother. These pigeons are quite delicious.
Very well. Enjoy your feast, Tara.
Thank you. I most certainly will, sir.
Okay, we're going to get the Ring of Blink out of this. The Ring of Blink is just a ring that allows you to cast the Blink spell once per long rest. Now, Blink in tabletop is incredibly useful. Here in the game, it can be situationally useful. Blink has a 50-50 chance of working. Okay, at the end of your turn, you roll a d20. On 11 or higher, you vanish into the ethereal plane. You can't be harmed, you can't be seen. Here, your presence is marked like an invisibility icon, and you can move that presence around up to 6 meters around you, and then when you come back, you will appear back in that spot. Okay, so it is kind of a way to, it's like a Misty Step spell that also protects you from damage and removes you from the fight. for a little bit. It can also be situationally used as a quick escape route, so to speak. It's not something that I use very often, if at all. But then up here, if you hold left alt, there's a bundle of letters. And they have finally gotten around to fixing this. So there's no longer a letter out here that's separated from this bundle already. So that's nice. And I'm going to make my way back down. Okay, I'm going to group everybody up.
Must lug my guts through
I'm going to send everybody back to camp. We're going to swap Gale back out.
First in
For
my
Karlach.
Soldier? No room in your party. What should I... Now we're talking.
Going to make sure that Karlach is shapeshifted.
Come on, let's go.
So that way if she does throw the Dwarven Thrower, she's gaining the additional damage out of it. Let's quickly look and make sure everybody has the correct stuff on. They do. Okay. Now we're going to head back out.
Very well.
Not this way.
We loved Father Logan as you did. We would never hurt him. We had nothing to do with his death.
Okay, and before we go in here and talk to Danzo, we are going to open the bundle of letters. Okay, there are 3 items here. Letter about taxes, nothing in particular. The anonymous letter, nothing in particular. However, the postmaster shipment inquiry lets you know that he's been working with Roa and the Zentarum. Okay, about the iron flask that we learned about all the way back in Act 1. Now that I've read it, when I go in here, I'm going to have a persuasion option to deal with Danzo.
Don't suppose you've stumbled across those letters yet? You read it? Technically, that's interfering with someone else's property. I should report you to the nearest manip. Tell you what, give it here and we'll say no more about it. I'll give you a nice little bonus as well, a finder's fee. What do you say?
Okay, a pretty high DC. Just barely. And I didn't want to cast Friends there. I wanted to cast Eagle Splendor. Because I don't want him getting angry once the Friends ends and he realizes that I cast it on him.
Fine. Just give me the letter. Forget you saw anything. This never happened.
And for that, you're going to get a large chunk of gold. Okay. So now we have finished the quest items or quests related to Rivington. Rivington is now completely finished. And we can move into the quests that are in Wyrm's Crossing, which again is the bridge that is to the south and to the north of Wyrm's Rock Fortress. Wyrm's Rock Fortress is here, but we can't get into that because this drawbridge has been raised and access to the fortress has been cut off. But there are still other things that we can do here in Wyrm's Crossing. And we can start doing that by talking to Arthur. So let's head up here into Sharess's Caress.
Why does Wyrm's Crossing have so few lodgings? We need at least a double bed.
How about Flophouse? You deserve to have plenty of spare beds.
The librarian does this thing.
We can bunk with 10 other people. And none of them has sticky fingers.
Okay, now there's a lot of stuff to do inside Sharess's Caress. And the first thing that we're going to run into is the owner of the establishment.
Open your mind to
Mamselle Amira.
A weary traveller, battered and bruised, you come for sustenance, no, decadence. A mien cool as ice, yet eyes burning hot. Oh yes, I know your bliss. A sturdy dwarf, a leather whip, she gives, you receive. Or have I misjudged you?
Interesting.
Oh, you crave a performance. How decadent. It's Fionn you seek, our stern librarian. She isn't here today, alas. Your penance must wait. Well, we've other ways to fill your void. A drink for one, a pair of drow for another. Choose your sin.
Okay, so we actually know about Fionn. We found her key.
Swishing. I'm no fortune teller. If I had a crystal ball, I promise I'd already have consulted it. Truth is, Fionn's gone well missing. And my hands may be skillful, but they were not made to turn every last stone she might be hiding behind. To service is my calling, not to be served. But I'd be a fool to say no. The girl kept my coffers near overflowing. 2 flights up, then turn right, and right again. That's Fionn's pleasure room, Elminster's library. Here, take the key. I'm listening. Twins, yes. Hands of such skill they could turn stone to silk. Your body could suffer no knot they can't untangle. They're through the curtain to the right. You'll need coin and stamina in abundance to enjoy their services, but the gold will be as well spent as you are. Nisha, our lovely nymph. She's engaged in the nymph's grotto on the top floor, sweeting. The client's a favorite of hers, too. I doubt you'll be able to tear her away. But we are blessed to have a devil in residence at the moment. A temporary guest. But he asked that I send any potential clients his way. Everyone who's paid a visit looks quite changed by the experience. Indeed he did. Raphael. Exceedingly handsome, and with a voice that could make the foulest blasphemy seem the sweetest hymn.
And since we already have found Fionn's corpse, we can complete that quest that she just gave us.
Murdered! Ye gods, the poor thing! Oh, by the mother of cats, I pray she didn't suffer. I'll miss that face. Else, the regulars will miss her more. They swarmed her like honeybees at the hive. Oh. Losing Fionn slashed a big hole in my coin purse. I should get to replacing her. I have little coin, but I offer sin in abundance. Talk with the Drow twins in the tap room. They're legends among the regulars, almost myths. Tell them they're your gift from the Mamselle, and let them show you why. Anything else on your mind, sweeting?
Okay, so we're going to be able to talk to the twins and have an indulgence there for free if we would like. We will be dealing with that a little bit later, but look who's also here.
Damn, Hoots! That new batch burns stronger than a pit fiend's fist.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Take it however you want. But I'll be having my usual from now on. Oh. It's Raphael's favorite misadventurer. Good to see you again, even if you have put me out of pocket. The boss bet me 5 soul coins you'd reach the city in one piece. He rented a room upstairs in the hope that you'd drop by. Ah, I forget we've never met. I've had my eyes and ears on you so long we feel like old friends. Courier is my name. I'm Raphael's assistant, shall we say. Take your time. Have a drink. Sample the goods. Go see him when you're feeling refreshed.
Okay, and then here we have Hoots Hooligan.
Now, that there's a face I'd remember if I'd seen it. Welcome to Sheress's Caress. What can Hoots do for you, stranger? You got a taste for ale, I reckon. Or maybe... Ah, forget it. My new brew could drop you in the wink of a spectator's eye. Don't know about that, chum. Hoots Hooch packs a stronger wallop than all 10 of my knuckles. Could beef you up, sharpen your tongue, or knock you out cold. No telling till the first drop hits your gullet. Damn! The gal knows what she wants. First one's on the house. So, don't come bawling to me if your big toes fall off or your tongue coils in a knot. Sheress Caress, the mamsel's brainchild. Wet your tongue, soak your skin, scratch your itch. Get the attention you want and avoid the attention you don't. My business is slinging tankards, not hoarding secrets. I'd like to keep it that way. Have a look.
Now, if you've already gotten or had the conversation to get Hoots Hooch, then you're going to see an additional item in her inventory, and that's the Amulet of the Drunkard. So while wearing this amulet, regain 2d4 hit points per turn while drunk. Additionally, increase the duration of your inebriation by 5 rounds. This is the second part of the drunk set of items. We found Punch Drunk Bastard in the bar in Act 2 in the Shadowlands, and this is the second piece. Being able to regain 2d4 hit points per turn while you're drunk is huge. That's a massive benefit. But increasing the duration of your inebriation by 5 rounds is very, very useful. Normally, your drunk is going to last for 2 turns. This allows it to last for 7, which means that you are now able to use just 1 drink as a bonus action before you go into combat, get into combat immediately, and have a lot of rounds left while you are drunk to be able to do damage. Now, we are going to absolutely pick this up because I don't know when they're going to be dropping the new subclasses in January, but I am going to be instantly interested in the Drunken Master subclass for Astarion and see how well all of that works out. We are still going to have this thing going well past January, so this is a very useful piece of kit to pick up for that type of build. That's the only thing I'm going to pick up, so I'm not going to worry about increasing her her attitude.
All set, are you?
Okay, now Hooch is a special type of drunk here, and I haven't tested this out yet to see how well it works with other things, so I'm going to keep this in my inventory so that I can do some testing with it later. But the Amulet of the Drunkard I'm going to send to Astarion. He'd be the one to use it. So now here inside Sheressa's Caress, we have one more interaction that we can do here that doesn't really mean anything.
You're looking parched, sweetheart. Another tankard?
Hell's, darling. Another sip and I'm like to spill over. Like other hankering for spicier flavours. How about you give me a taste? What'd you say, doll? Have a sit on my lap. Let's see what pops up.
Darling, how you set me a quiver. You are a beast among men. No, a dragon, setting my phoenix nest aflame. I shall slake your thirst, dragon. You will part your lips and drink of my essence.
Oh, I will drink your essence.
Hoots, order up! Another tankard for the fist.
Never forget where we are and what Sheressa's Caress is. Now, before we head over here to this area, we need to do a little bit of preparation because there's going to be a passive check here. Now, I believe rogues have advantage on that check, but Baldurians also have advantage on this check. We just want to make sure that we are maximizing our chances here. So we're going to add the Warped Headband of Intellect to us here. And I'm going to also put on, I'm going to swap out the Ring of Truthfulness with the Ring of Geniality. Then I'm going to shapeshift. And I'm going to have Shadowheart cast Guidance on me.
Nothing hurts anymore.
And we'll see if we can pass this history check.
Just make the drinks. The two men bark softly to each other. A single name reaches your ears. 9 Fingers. It's a name you know. Nine Fingers is the head of the Guild, a criminal organization operating inside Baldur's Gate.
Okay, now we have a deception check and a perception here option, but since we passed the history check, this deception check opens up. We're obviously going to take this.
Oh, yeah. Seems everyone's got business with her. Heard the gal met her match.
The new kingpin? All meat and muscle, that one. And wild as a werebear. If he's looking to oust Nine Fingers, my blade's got his back.
Sounds messy as the ninth hell. Must be why she called us to help.
Is that right? The way I heard it, you Zent cut a deal with the new... Hold on. Hey, you still lurking about? I don't remember inviting you to the party.
Okay, and here's the persuasion check now, which has all the bonuses associated with it. Only way I can fail this is double nat ones. Ooh, this might be a big number. Low roll and low roll. Never mind. I could have had a 40 there if I wouldn't have rolled ones on Mark of the Shifter and Guidance.
Look, this subject's not safe. You selling your services, beat feet to the Guildhall. Lower City, Basilisk Gate, Guildhall. And that's all you're getting from me. Now scram! The chat's officially closed.
Okay. So now we can go back. I'm going to leave the Ring of Geniality on. But I'm going to swap back out. Oh, I did already. The diadem. Okay, and now if you notice, we have another quest marker in here to investigate the suspicious toys. That's because Arthur is in here.
Seems like a good moment to talk. Nine hells! You followed me all the way here? What could you possibly want with me now? What? How? Nine hells. Whatever you think you know, I'm sure some gold would help you to forget.
Now, I actually can't remember which of these to pick. Give me just a second here to look this up. I didn't go through this in my testing because I think we can get both. Okay, sorry, I'm just looking here real quick.
What do you want from me? It's not my fault. I was forced to do this. Framed even. They would have killed me if I refused to rig the toys. And they're definitely going to kill me now. I can't tell you. I won't tell you.
Okay, now we have an intimidation check that we can make.
All right. Just don't hurt me. The teddy bears were an experiment. My greatest invention. A clever little device in their chest allows them to speak. But there's more. Smoke powder inside the device. I collect packages from Felogyr's fireworks in the lower city and stuff the bears with it. Not because I want to, because I have to. Otherwise, they'll kill me. I don't know who's in charge, but it starts at the fireworks shop. That's where the packages come from. Go there. Tell them Uncle Felogyr sent you, and they'll show you the smoke powder. Lots of it. There. I told you what you wanted to know. Now, will you let me go?
His plea comes with an offering. A pass granting you access to the lower city.
Now, this is one of 3 ways, I think, to gain access to the lower city, is through this pass.
Here, take it, all of it. I don't care. You'll never see me again, I promise.
These 4 wolves are our world.
Okay, so we're going to get the admission pass, again, which is one of the 3 ways to get in there. We're going to get an inspiration because we kept him alive. We're going to advance the Investigate the Suspicious Toys quest, and we got a bunch of gold out of it as well. So now, Investigate the Suspicious Toys, we need to go to Felogyr's fireworks in the lower city, which we will here in a little bit. We underheard some gossip at Sheressa's Caress, so Aid the Underduke is part of this quest line that goes on between the Stone Lord and the Guild Hall. And we also need to meet Raphael. Before we do that, though, and we're not going to interact with the twins yet, here in this location. Nim and Sorn are both over here. Again, we're not going to interact with them yet, because we're going to do one more thing today before we end the stream, and that's up here on the stairs, and here is our most annoying Holyfont, Valeria.
Another case closed, another bottle open. Huzzah to Valeria! Hang on a tick. I recognize that face. You were talking to Yanis after I left the temple. I'll bet she's put you up to something. Why must you busybodies insist on interrupting a perfectly good night? I know that look. You remind me of Devella. Fine. If you doubt my conclusions, out with it. What have you found? My assistant. She's posted in the lower city investigating Duke Stelmane's murder. Now, back to it. What have you found? A Baal plot? You as well? Devella's been harping on about Baal for months. Fancies herself something of an expert. I assumed it was just a bunch of conspiracy codswallop and fear-mongering. But she's been unusually insistent about this one, even for her. Fine. I'll bite. What's your theory? No need to wave documents at me. I'm already drowning in paperwork as it is. Constable Devella is going to be a real pain in the trunk about this. Since you seem to be on an obnoxiously similar wavelength, why don't you seek her out? She'll be at the Elf Song Tavern. Show her the list, and I'll stay and inform the Fist here. Oh, and you'll need this pass. It'll give you access to the lower city. Well, what are you waiting for? You've a bloody conspiracy to solve. Move!
And that's going to complete the quest of solve the open hand temple murders. And that's going to give you the second way to get into the lower city. I take that, but I should say there are 4 ways because one of them doesn't involve a pass at all. But that is the second of the 3 passes that you can get to gain access to the lower city. Now, there is something else down here. We do have a couple minutes left.
Just make the drinks. I'm not telling you about Raphael's sex life.
Not that type of service down here, love. I've got a husband. And you ain't my type. I suppose, if you're willing to pay for it.
So another place that you can buy some camp supplies down here.
Now get out from under my feet, would you?
And you have a basement over here. Now, I'm going to experiment with this a little bit off stream because I know there's one spot where you can sit and pick this to get access to this area, which will take you down into the basement. And there's just a conversation to be had down there and a couple of other things, but I don't want to do that now. While I don't want to do experiments with this in honor mode. So that's going to give us a good place to save our game. What we're going to do next week is we're going to briefly explore this, then we're going to head upstairs. And we're going to talk to Kithrak Voss, and we're going to talk to Raphael. And figure out how we want to play some very important things that are going to happen in Act 3. And those questions or those decisions are made here. And this is a good place for us to kind of figure out how we want to do this. So that brings us to a good point to end the stream. As always, thank you all for being here. Thank you very much for the interactions that we always have down here. Keeping me on my toes and making sure that I'm not messing up too badly. And I hope that we did learn a few things today as well. So, as always, without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying, until next time, fare thee well.